Folks, that's 40 jobs out there that we didn't have a year ago in this community. Thank you very much, Casey. It's all about that blood transfusion I talked about a year ago. Outside investment coming to this community. We want Scott standing up someday and saying, this isn't the smallest community with this type of media coverage. You know, it's no longer in that category. We're bigger. And that was an interesting question that Mr. Boley posed to me while we were going through the process with him. He said, Mayor, how big do you want to see Rochester get? And I thought that was an interesting question because I had not thought of it in those terms. My answer to him was, I don't know about size. I just want Rochester to be the best it can be. And he said, you know what? I like that answer. So we've got this whole group of people who have similar thoughts. They want to move things forward, move our community forward. And let's face it, we've been behind for a lot of years. It's time to move forward. And I'm happy to say I haven't run into anybody who says, well, we never used to do it that way. Why do we have to do that? It's all about changing our community and moving forward. And when that happens, then people get excited and they want to invest. Downtown, look at Giretti's. They now have a huge addition on Giretti's. It's called The Other Side, and what's the other one called, Amy?
I think it's the
Arlington, which comes from the old Arlington hotel days. So nice. If you haven't been in there, that's very, very nice. We've got Alyssa Troutman and her husband with the new Cuban restaurant, Uncorked. If you haven't been in there, that's very nice, and it's a nice downtown addition. And I got people from Wabash and Peru and all over saying, hey, that's a nice little restaurant you got over there. We were in there. It's a little different. You know, everybody wants to go to a Cuban restaurant. It's a little different. They've been in, checked it out. They come to Rochester. The Evergreen. We hear comments about the Evergreen all the time. We have a very nice, formal, like, eating establishment downtown now that people like. That's Jackie Worlarski's favorite place to go when she hits Rochester. We've got, of course, Harry's new operation, his new storefront. We've got the Baldwins that have a new storefront that used to be the old B&B store. We've got Dr. Hoff, who's working on the Manitou Manor apartments. Those are going to be very, very nice, by the way. There'll be 12 very nice apartments there. Telling me, I'm speaking out of turn, let me know, Terry, but sometime around April, we'll be launching.
It's only May, but
April, May, we'll be seeing some activity there for people being able to take advantage of those apartments. People are getting engaged, and that's the new word, Wes, by the way. You know, it was exciting for last year. It's engaged for this year. We're engaged to keep moving forward. You know, I told you the last time I stood here last year that if you held me to it, you could take a look at Rochester and it would be better this year than it was last year. I think I can safely say we've hit that. Starting with the park and moving on down through town and going down to the south end and seeing Pilot come about. And, you know, along with Pilot, Terry and I have other people inquiring about development out there. 31 corridors bringing us activities and inquiries. We have plans to develop things out there to make some things happen. And I think I can safely say, make another prediction. This time next year, we'll be able to point out some bigger differences in our community and moving forward. Very soon now, just as an example, we're going to have a brand new parking lot up there behind Giretti's. The nearly new store is just almost gone. Boy, it didn't want to go easily. It's been a hard one to get rid of, but it's going, and we're going to have nice parking up there, which will free up parking for people who have apartments downtown. We have a terrible problem with that, don't we, Amy? That's rough. We plan on, got Chief Shots and the staff, we're working on some a recommendation to the city council for different parking procedures for downtown. The residents of downtown will be on a sticker program where they can get parking in some of our lots that will be marked, much like on a college campus. These stickers will be available through their landlords. The landlords will be able to pay a fee and get these from City Hall, and it'll just be part of the program, making things a lot better. You can't do all this that I talked about without people in the system that are progressive and engaged. And I'm happy to say I've got 1/3 of the Board of Works here today. Rick Figlio. Rick? Why don't you stand up, Rick? Rick and John Little are the 2 Board of Works members. John is on a mission trip to Haiti. Rick and John have been great to work with. They try to slow the mayor down once in a while because I'm always wearing my track shoes. But it's great working with these guys because they have the courage to lead. Sometimes you have to make decisions that aren't real popular, but again, you always have to look at, Chief, what do I say, what's good for the all, right? Mm-hmm. We always have to take a look at that, and sometimes that's not a real popular decision. And I'm happy to say, for the most part, Board of Works has been very courageous in helping make some of those decisions. Thank you, Rick. And then we have a city council that's just been wonderful to work with. 15 years ago now, I was on the city council, and without naming any names, we actually had people that would show up and say, well, tonight the night we're going to get paid. You know, that was kind of the routine. I can tell you folks, in all honesty, there is none of that on the city council we have now. Very progressive, very engaged in the community. They want to see things move forward. And that council is made up by Brian Fitzwater, Mason Heidi, Mark Smith back there, who Mark and I have been in trouble since elementary school, John Garrett, Karen Miller, Chase Thompson, and our president, Brian Goodman. Don't see anyone here today, but if you give them a big hand, they've been great. And I mentioned Randy Williams, who's not here. Randy, I'm not surprised he's not here. Randy has 9 active projects on his plate right now. So 2018 is going to be very, very busy. We're going. One of his projects is the 4th Street revitalization of the street out there. We're going to make the street bigger and better, and put sidewalks in, and do some stormwater drainage out there. That was part of our community Crossroads grant that we received for improving of roads. We got $670,000 this last year from NDOT to make that project happen, and that'll do a lot to improve the situation out there. I don't know how many of you travel 4th Street, but there's a lot of activity on 4th Street, and there's a lot of foot traffic out there, which again, that scares me to death. So we're gonna have that. That's gonna start in April. The contracts will be let in April, and you'll start seeing some progress out there very soon. Randy's working on a project with Derek on Monroe Street. We're going to be redoing water main over on Monroe Street. We've had, in the last 5 years, what, 6 leaks over there from our water mains. So, you know, again, these are things that we have the monies to go do. It's one thing to set and save your money forever, but you've got to keep your infrastructure up. And so we're working hard on those things. And then there's a host of other programs too that Randy's working on. Least of not being the complete storm sewer project for Main Street, 9th Street, and Monroe. We're working towards that too. You know, the storm sewer issue has been a big issue for a lot of years, going through probably 4 mayors. We haven't done anything with our storm sewer system since cobblestone streets. And so it's no wonder when we get a decent rain, we have flooding all over the community. It's undersized. It's bad in places, we just need